Israel's victory over Iran is a divine victory. It's not a victory by a knockout, but it's also, it's a victory by points. So here is the first point. First of all, Israeli Air Force completely diminished the Iranian Air Force. There is not even one Israeli aircraft shot down. The Iranian Air Force air defense is all shut down. So this is one point. Second point, the Iranian fired about 500 ballistic missiles, very big one. Out of it, about 55, 60 ballistic missiles hit in Israel. So that's about 10%. So the Israeli anti-missile defense is 90% accurate. That's awesome. That's great. That's really great. This is, I don't think there's any other countries that they can show this kind of ability to give such a good defense against ballistics missile. Third, while the Iranian mainly they killed 29 Israeli civilians, they hit only civilian facilities. The Israelis, they attack the military, the government, the industry, oil production, ballistic missile production, nuclear facilities production, drone productions. They managed to kill and destroy many commanders of the army, of the Islamic Revolution Guards. They succeeded to assassinate major key commanders and scientists in the nuclear program. So if you compare that, you see that Israel, the success of Israel against the Iranian armed forces, against the Iranian the Islamic Revolution guards, you can't even compare that. What the Iranians did, they killed 29 Israeli civilians. They wounded more than 2,000. They made about 15,000 Israelis evacuate from their home. That's it. That's it, basically. Fourth point is the population's morale. The Iranians are running away from Tehran. You see the streets, the roads are full of Iranians running away from Tehran. And also you see how the borders with Turkey full with Iranian civilians fleeing the country. At the same time, Israelis, there's 100,000 Israelis stuck overseas, and they're making efforts, they're paying money because they want to come back to Israel. So instead of running away from Israel, they are trying to come back to Israel. And also you see the Israelis, they simply set put, they sustain the damage, they go to the shelter, they go to the safe room in their apartment, and they sustain it. They sustain it, they believe in what they're doing, they know what they're doing, they know what the fuck they're doing, and as opposed to the Iranians, which is just running away. Another point is the unity of the Israeli people. You need to understand that during this war, the 12-day war, the Israeli public fully support the government, fully support Netanyahu. Even the opposition, people in the opposition like Yair Lapid, like Benny Gantz, like Eisenkot, all of them support Netanyahu. They say, we are 100% behind you, do the job, finish Iran. All right, so the entire people, even those that are opposed Netanyahu, those that they want right now, they want to do a hostage deal, and they are against Netanyahu because they're saying that he's against the deal, and he doesn't want to release he doesn't want to give up the fight in Gaza because in exchange for hostages. All of those people, they're saying, look, right now we delay this because this is important. We need to make sure that the Iranians don't have any nuclear weapon, okay? 6th point, I think, 6th point. Now, you see that in the beginning, the Iranian fire hundreds of ballistic missiles, and then afterwards, after just a few days, they start to fire 40, 30, 10. 20. So in the end up, they only sent just a few ballistic missiles. Why not more? All right, so this is obviously because the numbers of missiles that they have, the numbers of launchers that they have is getting really, really, really small. And you saw with the Americans attacked Fordo and Natanz as well. And what was the Iranian response? They fired 14 ballistic missiles that were intercepted. So they don't have it. They don't have it. Believe me, the Iranians, as we know them by now, they don't care about dying. They have no fear. They are radical Muslims. They don't have any fear. They don't worry that the Americans gonna attack them, invade them, bombard them. They don't care. The only thing they care is to do their thing. All right. They don't have the missiles or the launchers to do it. This is why they don't do it. So Israel succeeded in diminishing the amount of ballistic missiles and launchers in the hand of the Iranian. They simply cannot manifest what they want to do. The point is that is the world opinion. Notice how no Muslim country or Arab country assisted the Iranians. Most countries were kind of like ambiguous in their in what they were saying about it. Some were very supportive of Iran, some didn't say that much. But anyhow, no country actually assisted the Iranian. Now, the only one who actually assist is the Russian and the Chinese. The Russian and the Chinese, by the way, people were afraid. They were saying, "Oh, if Israel gonna attack Iran, then the Chinese and the Russians, they're gonna be World War II, World War III." Nothing happened. All right, so all of those fear mongers are saying that, oh, you can't attack Iran because then the Chinese and then the Russians and then you're gonna have World War III, and then the Americans attacked Iran and nothing happened. Nothing happened. Not the Russians, not the Chinese. Absolutely nothing happened. So Iran is completely isolated. Its only friend is Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, some anti-Semitic and Nazi people that support the Palestine or whatever, maybe Greta Thunberg. That's their supporters, and with that kind of supporters, there's no wonder that you lose. So the 8th point is that Iran's proxies failed in this war. They didn't do anything in this war. Look at the Iranian Hezbollah didn't do anything during this war. The Houthi, they fired 2 rockets. The Houthis, you know how much money the Iranians sent to the Houthis in Yemen in order to attack the Israelis, attack the Americans, to distort world shipping? The Houthis didn't do diddly squat in order to assist the Iranians. They fired 2 rockets, that's all. So the Iranian proxies, mainly Hezbollah and Houthis, are diminished. And you need to understand that Iran is the heart of world terror, okay? If Iran doesn't pay the bill, there is no terror. There's no terror, okay? So hurting the Iranians, their money, their ability to pay for terror to Hezbollah, to Hamas, to the PLO, to the Syrians, to the Iraqi militia, to the Yemenis groups, terror group in Africa like Boko Haram and all this other stuff. If there is no money, then they can't pay for their militants. They can't recruit new people. They don't have enough food, water. They can't pay for weapon. They can't buy a weapon. All these things that they're doing cost a lot of money. Like all these fake IDs and stuff like that, and bribing people. They're just living on bribing. You need to understand what a terrorist. There's no friends. There's no friendship among terrorists. Everything you do costs money. Right? And this is why if you don't have money, you can operate as a terrorist. And this is why it's pretty much breaking terrorists apart. And this is a very slow process of breaking terrorists from their supply, basically. And that's a great thing. The 9th point is the element of surprise. Both Israel and America were successful to fool the Iranians. The news said that Netanyahu and Trump are angry at each other, and there were riots, and people were talking about Trump. And then you have, I don't know, all sorts of people inside the American society that they are against Trump. And then you have inside Israel, you had the religious. They wanted to break the government. So a lot of things happened that were taking a lot of attention, and basically kind of like making it a very big surprise for the Iranians that they are being attacked by the Israelis, because they didn't think that Israel gonna have the balls to do such a thing. And by the way, Israel has huge balls doing it, because Israel didn't know that it can attack Iran and succeed. You need to understand, Israeli airplanes went to Iran. It's 1,500 1,500 kilometers away. They go back and forth, and untouched, unscathed. They go back and forth, back and forth. You see, the Israeli plan was the way that they say, okay, we're gonna attack Iran. What's gonna happen? Okay, people say, look, you're gonna have 1,000 dead Israeli civilians and soldiers. Accept that. You're gonna have 1,000. 1,000 Israeli gonna die because the Iranian, the Hezbollah, the Houthi, the Syrian, the Iraqi, they're gonna fire rockets, they're gonna fire drones, they're gonna fire artillery, they're gonna invade. If you're gonna attack Iran, what's gonna happen? Crazy stuff. So the expectation was really that the retaliation by Iran gonna be really, really bad. And they thought maybe 1,000. Now also they expected that the Israeli Air Force going to Iran is some airplanes gonna be shot down. Maybe even Israeli pilots gonna be taken or something like this. They thought maybe they're gonna manage to destroy half of what they are planning to destroy, and they end up destroying every single thing that they wanted to attack. If it's nuclear facilities, if it's ballistic missiles, storage, production, factories, launchers, everything that they wanted to do, to all the people that they wanted to assassinate, scientists, commanders, and all this other stuff, they did 100%. There's not even one person that they could not take out that they thought that they wouldn't. Okay, so 100% accomplished of the mission. Now the 10 point that is very important is that this war show how Israel and America are more than allies. They don't work as allies, basically. Some people in America don't understand it completely. They have a lot of it's weird for them, but you need to understand that in many ways, especially when it comes to Trump, Israel and America are basically sitting on the same level of chair. They're sitting, and Israel have a say. So it's not just the Americans telling the Israelis what to do. Israel can say no if Israel doesn't want to. So Israel definitely, this war showed that from the point of view of the Americans, Israel stand out. It's not England, it's not France, it's not Australia, or it's not definitely not Russia and China. Israel is something special, and the relationship between Israel and America are unique, and you simply cannot deal with Israel without having to deal with the Americans. All right, even though in the end it's not like the Americans intervene for Israel. They intervene on their own behalf, and it was very short. Okay, so this is the 10 point of Israel divine victory over the Iranians. My expectation is that the Iranians gonna try to continue their nuclear plan, but I think it's set back many years back. Their ability to pay for terror will be diminished, and this is why my expectation is that we're going to see much less terror. And I think terror group around the world are going to be very weak because of that. I do believe that in the future there's going to be a new regime in Iran. I'm praying for that. But if that won't happen, then I'm pretty sure that we're gonna be back in a few years to fight against the Iranians. But I don't think that there's gonna be any change on the ground. That the Iranian won't have a better aircraft. They won't have a better air force. They don't really have anything to show. They can only make more ballistic missiles. Okay, and even that, it's really so basically the only chance is really just to get that nuclear weapon, and then to try to find leverage on that. Okay, all right, but I don't think that they're going to be able to do it because we just put them back maybe 10 years back. All right, love you, bye bye.